Do you know what, Johnny? I think we might be live. Looking at the clock over there. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Have you had a good weekend? Did you do anything nice? Are you with us today? Are you going out today? You know, because that's allowed. That's a thing now. Or are you staying in and keeping safe? What are you up to? Do let us know if you're with us today. Then thank you for joining us. Just having a quick tidy. Yeah, the show sort of crept up on me while I was busy, you know, prepping stuff. So yeah. I am just going to clip those together and put those to one side. Thank goodness for Wonder Clips, that's what I say. So today, oh my goodness, we have got a real jam-packed show for you today. I mean, like super busy, with so many different makes, so many different fabrics, so many different kits. We've been really busy, and just thank you to everyone who was really patient over the weekend. We've had a really epic weekend. We took down the website completely on Saturday. It's something that we've been meaning to do now for a long time, because we wanted to make the postage right. We had a few little niggles with the website whereby, for example, if you bought like the John Cole Morgan and Becky Alexander Frost course, it didn't know to not charge postage on that. And the only way around it was to take every single item down and assign a weight to every single item. So Team Makes this weekend has weighed every single item and put that against. So now your postage is accurate as we can get, in terms of you will be billed pretty much what it costs us, because you know that feels fair, rather than it being you've spent X amount, therefore we're going to charge you X amount of postage. This is what we believe it's going to cost. So hopefully that will make we call it a shipping matrix. We hope that makes the shipping matrix fairer for you guys. So hopefully, you know, for a lot of things that might save you quite a lot of post. I think it will all even out really nicely. So thank you for bearing with us while we had the shop shut on Saturday, and also I do need to say a massive thanks to the team who all rocked up on Saturday, put in a lot of hours to get this done. It was a long, full-on day. So, and I don't know about the rest of them. I went down with a migraine yesterday. So if I'm a little bit, you know, the day after you have a migraine, you just feel a bit battered. Yeah, feel a bit battered. Anyway, we've got a massive show for you today, and I'm just trying to find where we all are so I can say good morning to everybody. Where are we? Well, I better turn the video down, volume down. Where are we? I don't know where it puts us. It's very confusing. Oh, here we go. Just have to go to videos, and there I am. So good morning. Who have we got? Barbara and Sandra and Jill. Good morning. Oh my goodness, thank you, Jill. And Penny. She's starting to see some boats. Lovely. And Jacqueline, good morning. And Shirley, hi. Yeah, do you know, we're staying home too. Hi, Pauline. Hi, Helen. Flurries of snow. I know. It's all a bit fun, isn't it? Who else have we got? Becky, good morning. And Elizabeth, thank you for your letter. We're really touched. She likes being in a matrix. Does that mean you can jump buildings now? I mean, to be fair, Gemma and I have done it again. We've both come in pretty much wearing the same outfit. Mine is the my jeans don't fit after Easter look. So big and baggy is the way forwards. Hi, Claire. The team have just been phenomenal. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Nikki. The fur babies are settling in a treat. Yes, they are. They're all good, thank you. Growing while you watch. Hi, Amanda. Hello, Ellen. Hello, Tracy. Good morning. And Barbara and Jackie. Hello. Oh, Jackie, thank you. And Grace and Sasha. Morning, Sasha. And Myra. Sunny and Dumfries, she's got her sunglasses out. Jill and Heather, hello, and Ali, good morning. Well, you only had to ask, Natasha. I would have turned out to stroke the cave for you. The cave cutting is in full flow as we speak. So for everybody that's ordered the cave, it's here, it's being cut. Please bear with us. There is a lot to cut. There are 2 fabrics that our supplier forgot to send, so they are FedExing them today, hopefully, which, you know, out of 65 different fabrics isn't too bad, I guess. So anyway, they will be being sent out today, so there will just be 2 that will just come at a later date. So apologies for that, again, outside of our control. This is now the 3rd time they've tried to send us these fabrics. All good fun. All good. Della says, morning. Migraines are vile. Yeah, they are, aren't they? Yeah. Everyone wonders why I keep walking around turning out lights. But as I go into the cutting room, if I just stand on the set, there's a light that just catches in the corner of I keep turning it off. But obviously they need the light to cut, so they keep turning it back on again every time I go in and turn it off, because it's just that light catching in the corner. But it's all good. You know, we all get them, don't we? Good morning, Lorraine. Good morning, Pam. Good morning, Susan. Oh, I don't know where to start this morning. We have got so much on the show. I guess the thing is, I realise I might have a little bit of a bag making problem. Someone said on Facebook, yes, but do you actually use them on? It's like, well, they are made for a purpose, and a lot of them are for shows, a lot of them are samples for shows. But also what I wanted to do is make some different bags to show you about stabilizers. I don't know about you, but when I first started, I found interfacing or stabilizers or interlining, whatever you wanted to call them, I found them really confusing, and it put me off making stuff. It was another barrier that I put up in front of myself to stop myself from making things, which is just ridiculous. So I wanted to show you different weights of interfacing, and so that you can make an informed decision as to what you choose, what you decide to choose. Because it's all very well me saying, oh, this and this and this and this, but I want to actually demonstrate it and show you, because it's really easy for us to just show you a beautiful finished sample and go, well, you just needed to do this. But if you're at home and you've got a pattern, and you know, on some of ours it says you can use H640 or Styleville Fix, you might not know. You might just look on the website and go, well, okay, H640 is slightly less expensive, so I'll go with that. But ultimately, is it going to give you the finish that you want? Let's have a look at what we've got on the show today. We've got the wristlets. We're going to demo these. Now these, here it is. I just love these. They're by Sally Tomato. I absolutely adore them, and I've got different kits for them. Okay. And you get them at an introductory price. They go on Hochanda on Thursday, and you get first dibs at them at the introductory price. Then I have to put the price up to match Hochanda, because I always said that I wouldn't mess around on price. We would have the same pricing. So as of Thursday, the prices will go up on these to what they should be, and not the introductory price that I've got them on there for you. So you've got various different options here. You've got the black one, you've got this one here. Whoop, there we are. You've got this one. And I'll show you the kits, because they do come with the tassels, the zips, the fobs, the cork, the H640, the Lisa fabric, and also the lining fabric in there as well. So you're getting a lot, and I'm going to talk about the value. I've rucked that, there we go. I'll talk about the value of these in a moment, because I've been a bit sneaky for you, which I'm sure that you'll love. Then there's also Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. And I just think whether you have them for a day at the races, they're going to look just as good for that, or whether you have them just as your makeup bag, then it's entirely up to you. And then the colorway that we're working in today, oh, it's so rich, is this one here, which is going to be a bit lush. Yeah, so we're going to make that one fully today. So we've got those options plus one more, and I haven't made a sample in it because I was really restricted by what fabrics that I had. But let me just show you the kits, okay? Because I've made quite a few of these. I love them. This is how the kit will come to you. When we demoed these, quite some time ago, I just told you where to get the pattern. The pattern is free. It's a free download by Sally Tomato. She's perfectly happy for me to share it with you. She's ever so lovely about it. I did ring and check. Now, you will get, so this is just to show you, in your kit, you will get a free copy of the pattern, and I've done it so that you can just cut out the templates. This is the top, so you will use that and that unless you want a fussy cut, and you will have all of this left, okay, all of that. So there's a lot of extra fabric in this kit. This is your beautiful lining. So this is a jacquard lining. It's a paisley, beautiful paisley, and again, here's your template. You will use that much, and this then is all available for you to do. So you can make multiples. You just would need to top up on zips and fobs. They're on the website, I believe, or do we need to just do a stock take on those? But we can get them for you. And again, you've got a fat quarter of your H640. You can see all of these. So a fat quarter is basically a quarter of a meter length, but obviously the H640 isn't as wide as this, and the lining fabric is wider than this. And then we get down to, this is a fat quarter of cork. This is your quilted cork in this one. Now this is the base. This is what you would need for your base. So yeah, you've got a strip along there and then all of this. Now, if you want to make one of these bags, and the patterns are on the website separately, this is how much cork you will need. All right, so let's have a little look at this. There we go. If you put it on that way, you can fit it. If you do it that way, I would probably do it that way, then you will get your handles as well. So if you cut carefully and you cut cautiously, then you will have the base and handles for the cork based bag. You will be able to also make a wristlet out of this one kit. Okay. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense to you. So for $19.99 you will get enough either cork or PU, depending on which one you get, for either lots and lots and lots of wristlets or wristlet and the cork based bag. Okay, so that's what it equates to, or you'll just have loads left over to do. So these kits are mega. All right. And so, oh yeah, no, Ho Chanda have changed their name. They're now called the Craft Store or some other fine thing. There we go. So for example, in this kit, there's your pattern, there's your zip, going to be honest, I love that zip in there. How pretty is that? And then you've got your fob and your tassel, and that is your kit. Okay, so bearing in mind that's folded. So fat quarter of Lisa's fabric, fat quarter of H640, a fat quarter of your jacquard lining fabric, a fat quarter of cork, a tassel, a key fob, a zip, and instructions for $19.99. I reckon that's pretty good value, no matter which way up you turn it. I reckon that's pretty good. Okay. So that is kit number 1. But when these are gone, by the way, they are gone. But you see, I think these wristlets are as beautiful. I mean, this is it. If you wanted to go on and make more wristlets, they look rather gorgeous in Kaffe as well. And actually, a ½ metre of this will do a wristlet and 2 of either the cork paste or the contrast based bags. Just a ½ metre of that. So I've been really cautious about how to do everything. As you can see, I love these wristlets. So maybe you just want to, you know, get the cork. Cork is available by the ½ metre on the website if you want that. I mean, this is just with a mode of grunge. It's really beautiful. We've also got on the website this as a PU. This is pewter PU. We're going to talk about using PU for these. And I will show you all sorts of different ways. And again, you know, get your other fabrics out, have a go with them. They're all rather lovely. But they also make beautiful makeup bags, all that kind of stuff as well. So we will be coming back to those in a minute. Next kit. Oh, I'm glad you think it's good value. That, you know, it just, yeah, I always have a little panic. But, and also these things take a lot of time to actually cut. So I'm not going to fold everything out, but in this one you get your fat quarter of, well, I'll show you with the PU. You'll see, because we'll demo with it, you'll see you can get a big bag base out and a wristlet out of this. There's your H640, there's your black tassel, there is your gunmetal black fob end, there is your beautiful Lisa Chandler fabric there, your lining fabric there, and your zip all in there. Okay, and of course also your instructions, which will be in the bag. Oh, put that there. Now this is the only one I don't have a sample of. Oh, just because I only had a metre of this left, so I've got 4 units of this. Okay, but with this one, you're going to get the silver to pick up the silver metallic on that fabric. You've got dragonflies and everything in there, and then your silver fob end. So I've coordinated everything, put in that dark blue zip with this one as well. Okay. So let me put that back in there. But again, only 4 of those. That's all I got. And then this one. So it's going to make this. So again, that's your Lisa Chandler fabric. You've got a slightly longer zip in this one, just because the colour was right for it. But I'm going to, we'll talk about the zips in this. This is, I mean, look at these. These fabrics are just divine. So it's up to you really which side you want to use them. That would be my preference for this one. So there we go. Oh yeah, Hochanda is the craft store. Yeah, not to be confused with Create and Craft. No, gosh, don't do that. They would not thank you for that at all. I think they changed the name because people going through on the TV didn't necessarily know what Hochanda meant. There's your cork with this one. There's all of that. and you get your antique brass and your tassel in there as well. Okay, and then the one that we're going to play with this morning in a moment when we get going is the dark brown pleather PU, whatever you want to call it, with the beautiful chocolatey dark brown and gold Lisa Chandler fabric. And then this is your, anytime you want to change, that's your lining fabric there. Isn't that beautiful? Just beautiful. Right, okay. So we will get going with that in a moment. Let me then show you, so the K fabrics are in, they're being cut. Do you remember we made these with them? And we ran out of these. Oh my goodness, it's taken me so long to get these back in stock. But these are now back in stock. They're pretty much the same. For me, it's just trying to get the width on these. And also what I've got in stock, but we haven't loaded to the website, are the ones that don't have this on the end, but they're more discreet. So if you love the goldy sort of brassy finish on the edge, then great. Otherwise I will load the ones that don't stick out as much onto the website when I get a second. We've been super busy. So yeah, they're for, and these are they're the flexi frames. Where did I put them? I did, oh, here we go. Bear with me, caller. Yeah, so these ones, and these are the ones that have the pins. Now, you guys have all been fab, and you've realised that when I've sent them, what I've tried to do is put the pin through there. I did have someone message the other day, from Home Chandler going, it doesn't have the pin in, and they sent a photo. I'm like, no, that is the pin. Okay, there we go. So you'll just turn that through. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the one with the straight edge. And I put them all in little packets, little paper bags, so that they come to you all together. We're really careful about doing that. Okay. Now. If we're talking bags and all things good, then yeah. I make no apologies for this, they are just stunning. If you have a look on the website, you'll see what a finished one will look like. I'm waiting for more fans fabric from Lisa to arrive. We've got 16 boxes of her stuff arriving today, but that is the frame. How beautiful is that? That is the frame. That's a real, I've got to send it all the way back there to fit it in the shot. How gorgeous is that? The detailing on it, look at the detailing on it. Anytime, and there we go. This is it in gunmetal again. You're going to get from Lisa her instructions. So you can see there it is with the fan. It's got a little template in with it as well. So again, when I've had these printed off, I've made sure that you can just cut out the template. Although to be honest, I would template plastic it. This is it in bronze, I think we call that. I'm really limited on these. Hi Bren, welcome. And then this is it in silver. But they're really beautiful. And again, do you remember when I showed you how to do these, and I will show you these again, the technique, all of these are sew-in, okay, which I just find so much easier. So put your drawing pin in into a rubber, a razor if you're not British. That's another meaning, isn't it? And then stitch it in. It just holds it in place. So that's actually Lisa's top tip. I can take absolutely no credit for that whatsoever. So let me pop that in there. And that in there. Yeah, I've got a handful of these. If you want them and you're making these sorts of bags, again, you know, they're gorgeous for a special occasion. And the price of these, if you're buying them in the shops, is extortionate, and it might not even be in the colour that you want. So this is your way to get them the colour that you want. They are going to be similar. So do you remember we had this one? So it's along the same kind of lines, slightly different templates, but it's going to be that sort of thing. And I used a Styleville fix for that one. Okay. But we've sold out of those handles, but it's going to be kind of along those lines. Oh, Christine, you're naughty. I'm trying to save up. I know. I'm really, really sorry about that, Christine. Sorry. And then what else do we have for you? Right. So, if you wanted, I'm going to be honest. I am prepping this for later on this week for the craft store, and oh my gosh, look at this. Now, we had these in pairs, but they've sold out, but I do now have them. Yeah, look at those rainbow fobs with matching tassel. Yeah, they're on the website. When the stock is gone, I don't know if I can get any more, but that will be what I make with that one. Okay, now then, let's have a look at oh, okay. So, super wide fabrics. We didn't list these because we weren't 100% sure that we were going to get them. These are your super wide backing fabrics. Okay, they're Kaffe backing fabrics, Kaffe Fassett Collective backing fabrics. And yeah, they are now up on the website. We've only got a bolt of each. That's all we've got. It's all we could get hold of for some reason. If I can get more, I will. They feel so silky and soft. They're absolutely beautiful. So we've got that in another colourway. This is your, is it I want to say it's lotus flower. Gorgeous. I've got cushions out of this. Just beautiful. And yeah. So these, when I say they're super wide, they're 108, and I don't mean 108 as in metre, I mean 108 as in inches. That's 275 centimetres wide, and we're selling it by the half metre. They are phenomenal. And if you love your Milli Fury, maybe you're a little bit of a Kaffe fan, maybe you're doing the John Cole Morgan quilt, then this would be stunning to back it in. Just stunning to back it in. Fabulous. I've also got it in a lighter colour there for you as well with the Milli Fury. Stunning. We were comparing this to the normal fabrics, Kaffe fabrics, and so these, I think it's a mercerized cotton, so it feels super silky, really beautiful. But also I think the patterns have just been enlarged slightly as well. Gemma giggled to herself when she loaded this as KFC onion rings and started feeling hungry. Would that be right, Gem? Yep. She's on delay. She watches in the other office. And no, I was just saying KFC onion rings. Oh, how we giggled to ourselves. It's like dirty food, but so good.
You made me hungry. It's 8 o'clock in the morning.
I know, hungry for onion rings at 8 o'clock in the morning. Like chocolate, I would understand, but onion rings. I heart this one very, very much. So if you just might, I want all of them. I can't really decide. Anyway, these are now in. I'm kind of expecting them to be back out again. Wouldn't this one also look lovely on the back of our Storm at Sea? I mean, they're all rather stunning, aren't they? But oh my good Lord, they're heavy. Captain Small did not unload those ones, let me tell you. But she did. Her and her brother did unload the rest of the order. And I was saying to them, it was so funny listening to them because they had to put them in bolt order. So they had to collate all the same coloured bolts together. And then they had to put the same fabric print in order, so you'd have your 4 or 5 different colorways of that all put together. And so I could just hear them both going, oh, beautiful. Oh, I'm like, yeah, they are my kids. And then they unloaded one of the Philip Jacobs ones. I think it was the cactus flower. And I just heard, I was hiding behind one of the bays of fabric, laughing to myself, because I just heard Freddie turn around and go, oh, someone likes nature. And I was just like, that's Philip. That's Philip. So I did tell him that, because Freddie's a big Philip Jacobs fan, because he gave him a fossil, a 53 or 54 million year old fossil. So Freddie thinks he is the absolute bee's knees for sure. To have an actual piece of dinosaur in the house is pretty amazing. Right, what else have I got to show you? My goodness me, I told you there was a lot, didn't I? We'll actually get on to demo. Oh my goodness, it's past already. No one's going anywhere, are they? Pfft. Who cares? The world's open up. We don't want to go. It's fine. We'll stay home and sew. Inga was saying, her mum was saying, you know, she kind of got used to being at home now. Didn't want to go anywhere, thanks. How do I? Right, let's have a look at these. In honour of the new Kaffe Fassett coming into stock, I've done you some half-metre heavens, okay? Yes. Just a handful, you know, because I know that if you're making these bags, you're going to want a coordinating fabric. Now, what I'm going to use for my demo is actually, I've cheated a bit, because I just absolutely love the plum jumble, or prune jumble, which is that one. And I'm going to use that one for my demo today. But this, absolutely beautiful. And the thing is, if you wanted to make the 2 bags, so you can make, out of a half-metre, you can make 2 of the bags and a wristlet. You'll just need some extra backing. This is, what colour is that? Is it just purple? No, imperial. So you can always pop yourself in an extra half-metre of imperial and you will be good to go. There we go. So we've got that one. Now, when I interviewed Brandon, I had one of my bags. Which one was it? Let me just find it. It was this one. I had this bag in the background, and he said to me, I am so glad that you have made that bag. He said, because that was the sort of thing that Kaffe had envisaged when he designed the banana leaves. So that was really beautiful. So what I've done for you again is, having that in mind, I've done you, oh, look at it with the lime, just looks gorgeous, just look gorgeous. There we go, so that's the banana leaves. I want to make everything out of all of these, and I'm making my way through it. The buttons have been super popular, and this one, actually, I don't think I've shown you at all. These are the ultimate blenders. They're fabulous, and each of the buttons has just a little pick of colour right in the middle, which is, in this case, that red. So we've picked that out so that it really pulls through. But you see this grey and neutrals with a little hint of another neutral going on there is just going to be such a fabulous blender, as well as a great standalone fabric. And we've teamed it with that lovely bright red there for you as well. Now, we've done all of the banana leaves with a contrasting fabric, and today what we've got for you is a batik, a salt batik with this one, and it just made it so warm because it merges between all of these, and it's proper warm fabric, isn't it? Really beautiful. So we have got that with the gold batik there. The rest is going into the stunning bee quilt that's behind me by lovely Tracy. Now this one, I heart very, very much. And I've picked out that blue because I made my Japanese knot bag out of this, and I did that on both sides. Now this doesn't have any interfacing, doesn't have any lining, so it is literally just 3 fat quarters of fabric, but then this is the mosaic in that colour, so that handle just picks that up, and then you've got the jumble down here. I love it. So but yeah, if you want just a nice easy going bag, that one, you know, you don't have to worry about interfacings or anything else like that. But what I really wanted was just to be able to have that hit, that blue hit there. So that's with Sky. Okay, now this is the banana tree with fuchsia. But again, if you wanted to get yourself a ½ metre of lime or something else like that, then go for it, because the lime will pick it. Have I got the lime to hand here? I think I was just quite aware that I'd put quite a lot of stuff with lime. So I went with the pink for this one. But again, it's just a little bit softer. But actually, when I did mine, I lined it with the jumble in the lime green and the grey, and that looked phenomenal, according to, you know, Brandon. And this one, I don't know why I'm singing that to you, is your brocade peony with crimson. Oh yeah. If you get the chance, go on the Coach website, look at their handbags. You'll find this in a different colourway, and their bags are 400 odd quid. We can make them. We can make them for a fraction of that. So I was like, righto chaps, let's get crack-lacking. But it just goes to show, doesn't it, what people will pay. And a lot of them have sold out. It's just what people will pay because they can't sew. We're so lucky that we have the means to be able to sew. The buttons, again, the buttons in orange, just stunning. And again, I've picked out that blue from the middle there with the sky. Just beautiful. And we'll actually get on to making something in a minute. And then, so this is why I've done this, okay, because this is your cactus flower. I've put it with paprika, okay. I mean, with the cork, it's just divine. What did I line this one with? I lined it with the jumble, just so that it picked out that blue. But here's the thing, so that's the wristlet with that. It would also look phenomenal with, there's a swatch of that brown leather. So if you went for this wristlet, you would get the brown leather enough to make one of these rather, enough, and then you could do one with cork. Get yourself a ½ metre of cork. Look phenomenal. But maybe, how fabulous does the buttons look with it? Because you've got that heat of that orange, but it picks out the blue from the middle bit. So my thinking was, if you wanted to go for 2, how phenomenal would that all look together? That was my thinking. Because I nearly put this with the peacock. I was in 2 minds. I was like, that does look phenomenal. But I just put it with the buttons. So actually, you've got a choice. You've got a choice. Love it, love it, love it. And then we have got... And so this has kind of been inspired by Brandon saying, you know, this is what Kaffe wanted for these fabrics. He wanted this big bag. So that's kind of what we've done. And then I've just picked out this delicate here. So this is ice green, not ice cream, but ice green. And it just picks out those little bits there. And if you have a look at Kaffe's interview, and actually you know, he talks about how he puts all of these things together, and actually there's a whole bit of it in his book as well. So we've got the book on the show as ever. They are signed copies. Now you can possibly get the book cheaper on Amazon, but here's the thing: I will always charge for Kaffe's books what the publishers recommend, and it's for two reasons. Firstly, because they're signed, and secondly, that is the price. And I know that Kaffe gets really upset when people mark down his books. He said, you know, the amount of time, energy, effort, the collaboration, you only have to listen to the interview that we did to suddenly realise just how many people get involved and the hours that are spent on putting these books together. So out of complete respect for them as artists, I don't reduce the price of the book, and they are signed. So, you know, if you want to save a couple of quid, by all means have a look on Amazon. They won't be signed, but if out of respect for Brandon and Kaffe, they will go out at the publisher's recommended price, and they will be signed from us. So that's just so that, you know, I know that some people, you know, a couple of quid means a lot, and that's absolutely fine. But like I said, it won't be signed. There we go. Soapbox moment. I really felt for them now, and they're like, you know, we've only just done this book. What? I've done this with a hit of orange. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But also equally, you could pick out that peacock blue. So again, if I did this because with the buttons look great. The buttons also look lovely, but it comes with that blue. So if you wanted to pull out that blue, you could. But then if you bought both, then you'd have all of that to play with. So that was what it was about for me. It was about trying to give you guys options for all of these things. If you've gone for the wristlet with the black leather, then you will be able to make a little something like that. Okay, and we're going to talk through about all of these in a little bit, all right? But that's the sort of thing that you would be able to make. And then this one, I love this one. How stunning is that? Again, we've pulled out that blue with that. And then the last one to show you, because I'm aware that, my goodness, we haven't even started sewing yet, is, I love this, the brocade with the orange and the purple background. Look at these. And we just had to pull out that orange. Just had to. How stunning is that? Just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Right. Okay. Now, they are your half-metre heavens. Now, for people like Bren, hello Bren, who is new to us, then our half-metre heavens, they normally go live on a Thursday, but today, because we've got like a special occasion, because our Kaffe has actually arrived, you can buy all of these Kaffes by the half-metre on our website, www.natashamakes.com. But if you want them with a half-metre of matching fabric, then you just pay $9.99 and you get a metre of fabric. So a half-metre of your Kaffe and a half-metre of your plain. And that's the deal with it. And they normally go live on a Thursday. So, you know, welcome. Right, let's talk bags. Because that's what we're going to make today. And I know this was the bag that sort of set everything off, and this was made with, the Christopher Wilson Tate Giraffe, whatever it was. But it had one of the prim bases. We've got a couple left in black, I believe. But then I had messages from people saying, can you tell me exactly how you... They come with like basic photographic instructions with these. The contrast base instructions are pretty much, that we've done for you, are pretty much how you would tackle this. And I'll explain any difference. And So then let's talk interfacing. Now there are a lot of bags up here and it's for good reason. Okay, let me get them all down so that I can explain what's what and who's who at the zoo. Oh my goodness, we haven't even talked about the Orophil. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stop press, stop press. Right, okay. I'm just going to put these on as close a close-up as I possibly can for you. I have no idea if this is going to work. Right, no, it's absolutely not, is it? Let me spin this around so that you can see how much fun did I have making this. I mean, just beautiful. So Orophil are bringing out, they call them colour builders. So you get 3 sort of consecutive tones of colour. They're beautiful, really exquisite. And if you build them all up, then you'll get the entire rainbow. Just stunning. We've put it on a special deal because they've just arrived to us that if you buy 3, you get the third one half price. So, and they've been inspired, and I think they're putting some money to help these animals as well. So it's really, really lovely. This one here is your Iberian lynx. So they are your 3 Orophil. Now these are 1,000 metre spools. So you get a kilometre on each of those. That's your Iberian Sphinx. This one is the gorilla, the Cross River Vanilla Gorilla. That's the one, in those beautiful purples. Have a look on the website. The photos are lovely. This one here is your pangolin. Again, great neutrals, really useful neutrals. And actually, these flow into that really beautifully. You can see you've got more chocolatey tones. These are more pinky tones here, pinky browny tones, which these are really useful ones because they are going to blend. These are blending colours. So if you don't want your stitch work to necessarily show out, then use that sort of colour. Anything that sort of looks like it might belong on a mushroom is going to blend in beautifully, which is my rule of thumb. Does it look like a mushroom? Yes, it's a blender then. Now these are not going to blend anywhere, but they are rather stunning. It is your whale shark, your 3 blues there. Then over here, again, I know these will sell out. These are your African penguins. They're your basics. They're your white, your grey, your black. I mean, yeah, right? Down here, we've got, this is one of my favourites, is the blue-throated macaw. Macaw in those 3. Beautiful. If you sew in a lot of teal like I do, go for that. Now, this one is your African wild dog. Gemma just took one look and she went, that's a hyena, isn't it? Maybe. Maybe. I think she was going to go and ask Freddie because he is like a small David Attenborough. And then this one is your pink land iguana. So if you love the pinks, go for that one. And then last but not least is your Sumatran tiger. And they are your 3 Sumatran tiger colours. They're like that. Now, they are particularly gorgeous. We already had on the website, so they're the new ones in. We already had sea turtle and red panda. And so this is just how they will arrive with you, like so, in the box, like that. There you go. So that's that. So if you want the reds, you've got that. If you want the greens, then you have got the sea turtle there. And that's the full collection that they've done for 2021. It's just a really lovely way of collecting your Orophil threads, which is fabulous. Okay. What was I talking about before I rudely interrupted myself? I don't know. Are you all right? Oh no, it's very different, more delicately shaped than a hyena. See, somebody always knows. It's great. We didn't ask Freddie in the end. I'm sure he would have known as well. Oh, a bee behind me. Yeah, so the bee. This is Tracy's quilt, and we're going to bring it to you not this week. We're going to bring it to you next week. That's Jane's next Wednesday's show. in gorgeous Moda grunges. It's just divine. So yeah, it's a big one, big one. Oh, there you go. Laurie's working on a giraffe as we speak. Morning, Margaret. Hope you're well. Temptation, temptation. Your shows are so enjoyable. Thank you very much. Yeah, there's the bee. There's the bee. Yeah, Karen says, I think it's really sad how the authors of these books get so little for their hard work and artistic skills. And I feel very passionately about that. So I, out of principle, I won't. And someone said to me the other day, but aren't you damaging your own sales? And I'm like, I would rather have integrity and fewer sales, but know that people that I now consider to be my friends, that's more important to me, that I support them fully, than undercutting for a couple of quid because Amazon have got it cheaper or elsewhere have got it cheaper. Like I just won't do it. Just won't do it. Hi Geraldine, hello, 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 welcome Bren. Oh, this is a soapbox moment, Bren. You didn't know what you were letting yourself in for. Why will people pay £400 for a commercial bag? Well, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? If you can't make one, you can't make it, you know. It's just one of those things. Elizabeth, this is sending my heart rate up. The only cardio I get, so it's all fab. You know, they are beautiful. They're really beautiful. Should we make something? Come on then, let's make something. Quick drink. Try not to spill stuff all over my desk. Right, okay, so the wristlet kits, gorgeous. I have made so many. And I will probably gift some now because I'm at that stage where I'm like, oh, I've got quite a lot. So I've gone ahead and prepped some of it just because I want to also make some other bags and explain a few things for you as well. So please bear with me. But these are the constituent parts, all right? I have put in here, this is a jacquard lining. It's quite fine and there's quite a bit of movement in it. So here is my top tip for you getting this kit. I would, and this is what I have done, I have bonded all of that base, all of that lining with the H640, okay? All of that with the H640, so it's not going to move around, all right? And also because, and this is what I just started to get the bags out to show you, the pleather here is quite fine. So it's a nice, easy faux leather cloth to work with. It's easy to sew with. And so with this one, and actually with this one, with the pewter, again, that's a really fine leather cloth to work with. That's part made one there. I would always, always, always interface the lining on those. Now, it's up to you entirely. That would be my recommendation. Or starch spray the living whatever's out of this. It is a beautiful, beautiful fabric. It's just a little bit slippery to work with, but I love it. It's a lining fabric. It is a proper lining fabric, and it's really stunning and beautiful quality and all of those things. So there we go. Right, we've got our zip, we've got our tab ends. Now you will make 2 of those for the zip and then a longer one which I've just basted onto there because otherwise I forget. Now my other top tip for you is sew the tops and bottoms together before you do your darts. It's just easier that way. Okay, so I'm going to do as much as I can before I need to change over my foot on my machine because I'm not quite sure how to do it. And in the meantime, I'm going to ask Gemma if she could zip across to the warehouse and grab me a tab end. Although actually I might have a gold one. Yours will come with antique brass, but they've all gone into the kits. So I'll pop a gold one on, but yours will come with antique brass, unless Gemma can pop over and find one in the warehouse for me. That would be amazing. So you can, there are two ways as well to do the wristlet bit. We will get onto that in a moment, but you'll get an idea as to how easy these are to make. So your top and your base, right sides together. If you want to clip it, then do. And then we're just going to stitch 1/4 of an inch seam, down we go, okay? And yes, it's the new mini beast. Hi, new mini beast. We're just getting to know each other. It's a beautiful thing. And then what I would do, now with the cork, I would possibly press this, but with the leather, with the pleather, finger press away. And then I just go in and do a little top stitch along. Now my stitch length is almost at 3, so it is, oh hello, I've come undone. I've come undone. And this is the fun thing with this machine, is trying to work out how to rethread it. Yay! Because it's not as it looks. So you get a bird's eye view here. That's going to go around there. But look, the needle goes in sideways. What? What? So when I bring this down, that has to slide through there. That goes through there, and then it pulls it through the side. Amazing. Amazing. Now, I'm really hoping that means I haven't run out of bobbin, because otherwise it's just, this machine is fabulous, but it's a little bit scary for me because I've never had a side loader bobbin. I've done it once. So I'm sure I can do it again, but we're just going to have to hope. Now, all that's done is just push that up to the top there. So it's going to just lie really nicely, and it's just got a little stitch detail in there. I've tried to match it with a colour that's in the top bit. You don't have to if you don't want to. Now, the next thing then to do with this are these darts. Now, these darts are just going to give it that curve. You can see I've gone ahead and already done these ones in here. A bit like you would get darts in your clothes, so that, you know, around the bosom you've got that room. This is, instead of boxing the bottom, that's what this is doing for you. Okay. So just match up those edges along there. I start from the base and go in. You're going forwards and backwards, just so that my there we go. And again down here. It is weird, isn't it, when you get a new machine and you're going to have to bear with me because I'm still getting to know it. So that's going to give, you know, a real big curve. If you don't want such a pronounced curve, then use a smaller seam allowance. You know, go in with 1/8 of an inch. I've gone in with 1/4 of an inch. But if you don't want it as pronounced as that, don't do it as large. There is also a YouTube video where Sally Tomato demonstrates this herself, so you can follow that as well. There's lots of resources for this out there. This is just my take on it. All right, now let's talk about the strap. It's a wristlet, so you do have a wristlet. Now, with pleather, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. It's a 2-inch strip, so you can either fold it in half and stitch down. Fine, easy, job done. And I might even go in and just whoop, stitch down the other side as well. And then that looks looks really smart. Now, if you're using a pleather that might have like a different colour on the end, you can always get a marker pen and just colour that in. But that looks really quite smart to me, and I'd be really happy to have that as my wrist. Now, with the cork, this is how I would do it with the cork. You find your centre point, so sort of fold it in half and then fold your outsides in. I've done one of them, and then, I mean, it's not exactly half because I didn't measure it fully. Oh, thank you. Love one of those. Yeah, lovely, thanks. And then pop it in there. Now this one is a little bit longer. So this is how you'll do the cork ones. And it's a bit like making your binding, where you just take your outside edges into the middle, but just stitch them down. And all I'm doing as I go is just matching up those seams together. So whichever way round you do it, you're going to end up with the exact same size. It's just what finish you want. I'm just folding this as I go. You can clip it should you wish. Now, as you can see, there is no bother with this particular pleather. Some pleathers are, and when I say pleather, it's like a PU leather. Some are trickier and stickier. So if you're using a different one, then just, you know, just have a little think about that. There we go. So that stitched it beautifully. So I now have a choice. One where it's just been folded in half, and I've got that raw edge. Raw edges on pleather, of course, don't fray, so you're absolutely fine. Or if you want them to meet, you can't actually see where they meet really in there. Then I've got that option now as well. So I've got two different options for my handles, but that gives you both options there. Okay, so now let's look at the zip. Okay. In your kit, your zip, you've got an 8-inch zip in your kit. Now, your zip just needs to be 7.5 inches. If you are using a zip off a continuous roll, then you'll cut that to size. If you are using the 8-inch zip that you've got chance to just chop off the metal bits off either end and make it up to 7.5, and it'll feel really strange for the simple reason that you go, but the top, they're my paper scissors, by the way, which is why they're chewing through it. And you'll be like, well, hang on a minute, Natasha's got that completely wrong, because look, when I put that zip on there, it doesn't go to the end. But that's where this pattern's genius, because that's your seam allowance. So you're never going to be chewing through lots and lots of layers, which is great. And if you do have metal bits in your zip, then you're going to be absolutely fine, because you're not going to sew over it. So again, if you've used a metal zip, then I would hand stitch this. So those little strips just are zip enders, whatever you want to call them. And all I'm going to do is just sew across. You've got lots of leeway here as well. So there you go. That is your zip. Da, 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 made. Now we need to put it in. So as you are used to with me, I use this stuff, and I used to stock all sorts of stuff. You can trim these down now, by the way, if you want. I used to stock the non-washable and the washable, and I'm kind of sticking with the washable, because what I found is it doesn't gunk my needle. Okay, don't just think any old double-sided tape will do. It's very different with the wash away quilter's tape. It just, yeah, it's just easy, and I heart it very, very much. And again, just use your paper scissors for it. Okay. you can have a think about which way round you want to do this. So obviously this is going to go on that way. So then, sorry, that way. So it will then be like that. So do you want your tab at the opposite end, or do you want to be able to hold your tab and open your clutch? So just think about, I like to have it all on the same end. So I will put this one here. Okay. It actually doesn't matter either way. So all I will do is pop that on there, flip it over. It just saves a lot of pinning. And I know so many of you see me do this time and time and time again. I make no apologies. That's what I'm still going to use. Line up those edges there. Plink, plink. And you are good. Now, this is where... Right. Let's turn this off for a second. As you know, this arrived last week, so I've had a little bit of a play. I haven't done a zip on it yet. And I'm not sure. Here we go. So the feet, it's a semi-industrial. This is a semi-industrial. They're not in the country yet, and the next batch have pretty much been assigned, but we will be stocking them. So they've got beefy old feet on them. Now this here, I don't know how this one attaches. There we go. On like this. This is an adjustable an adjustable zipper foot. Okay, so that strikes fear into the heart of me already. And so for those of you that didn't see Gary's show, that didn't see Gary's show last week, he was explaining about this machine, that because it is a semi-industrial, it just does straight stitch, doesn't do zigzag, just does straight stitch. So I will hand crank that, and you see that's going to hit on there. So I need to adjust that over a little bit more. And what this is going to allow me to do is to make sure, there we go, that when I'm doing my zip, I'm happy with where it's going to be. So let me just check. So it does one job really well. It does your straight stitch really well. And that's it. That's all it's going to do, ladies and gentlemen. It's a one-trick pony. And there it goes. Now, if I lift that foot, I might be able to, oh, there we go, squidge that through. But if you can't, like on my other machines, what I would always tend to do at that point is just do a holding stitch, take it away from the machine, move it aside, and then go back in. Now you can press those to one side if you want. To save time, I'm just going to finger press. Okay, all this does as we come down here, whoop, all this is doing is keeping your fabrics away from the zipper teeth, just top stitching down. I'm not going to make any apologies for the fact that my stitching has been a little bit wobbly going through here. It's a new machine and I'm still getting used to it. It's like your driving's a little bit wobbly when you first get used to a new car. Now you can see here that you can see a little bit of that zip pull, and I'm absolutely fine with that. If I want to, I can just go in with my prim pen with the water on. That will then at some point disintegrate, but I'm not going to worry about it, or I can get damp cloth on it, whatever I need to do. But that's why I use a wash away, okay, because then I don't have to stress or worry in any way, shape or form. So then we do exactly the same on the other side. Are we all good? Are you all with me? And this time I'm going to line up, and I'm just making sure my sides are kind of lining up as I do this. Pop that under there. I used to have absolute nightmares about zips. Honestly, I did. Sorry, you've got root cam going on there. But this has been, and it's just, I always used to get a book out to just reference and double check. Basically, my lining pieces will be right sides together. As anything is, when you sew, those ones are going to be right sides together. You just have a zip in the middle of it. And as soon as you get that zip sandwich right, you are good to go. Can move that zip out the way, and we'll go back to the machine. There we go. I can feel that zip. So I will. Yeah, the foot seems to sit higher, so normally I would be wrestling with a machine to move that out of the way. Doesn't seem to be a thing here, which is great. Now, making sure that your lining fabrics are one to each side. Take this across. I'm going to finger press again. If you want to very carefully press, then do. I'm not too worried about this being like super near the top or any of those things. It's purely, now I mean I've put in better zips for sure, but it's the first time using a very different foot for me, so I'm happy with that. And remember at this point to open your zip up. Okay. How many times have I forgotten to do that? I had to unstitch, unpick, and curse slightly. You know, that happens. Right, so we're now just going to stitch all the way round. Things to line up as you pin this together would be your side points there. Clip. When I first started doing this, it just elevated my sewing up a notch, and then if you want to, you can open out those seams again. Like I say, if you don't want to have such a deep base, then use a smaller seam allowance. I can't remember actually, it's been so long since I actually looked at the pattern to see what seam allowance on that bit she says, but you know, all of these things are personal preference, aren't they, when it comes down to it. Just try and align them up, and also make sure that you do like a forwards and backwards holding stitch on there, so that it doesn't come undone. You might want to, if you're working with faux leather or leather, just extend your stitch out a little bit. I think I have mine on about a 3. It's entirely up to you. But just opening out those. So these are the points of the bag that I am matching. Okay. And it really is, it's a work of moments to get that right. And then when it comes to here, you see, look, normally you'd have to decide which way to push the zip, but actually there's your zip, and you know, if you want to push it out anyway, push it into the bag, but realistically your seam allowance, because of the width of the zip, the length of the zip rather, should mean that you don't sew over that zip at all. That's the really clever thing. So that is now all stitched. Let's change that foot again. Yep. I wonder, actually, there is another little gadget for unscrewing. I wonder if that might have been better. Right, turn it off before I get my fingers in there. With the NX7, with the Beast, that is never a problem. You can just lock the screen on that, which I really appreciate for things like that. Helps if I get the foot around the right way. Get it in there. Do. Ha! Excuse me. Got a frog in my throat. And then tighten up. It's new stuff, isn't it? It does make you appreciate all those feet you just click on, click off. But I'm also playing with my new machine. Right, let's then stitch. This is going to give me a 1/4 of an inch. I've got the 1/4 of an inch foot on there. If and off we jolly well go. I am also going to leave a turning through gap, if I remember. Ha 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 ha. Right, let's go. Now this is where things like, and what have I done with it? My pokey tool. I've put them all down. Put them all down somewhere. Oh, where's my new one gone? I put that in a safe place. Not getting your fingers. How beautiful is this? Really very precious. Not getting your fingers close, but if you want to, you know, I want that seam to go in there. I would really like it to go in and match. That would have been really nice. Round we come. Now, some fabrics you would want to snip round those corners. This pleather has a little bit of give, so when we take it off the machine, probably won't bother, but you know, if you want to, then you can. Now, this is my foot with the guide, the 1/4 of an inch guide on. So when it sticks every now and then, it's because I haven't cut it perfectly. And that little edgy bit is just going, excuse me. But that edge will also give me that perfect 1/4 of an inch. So it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? If I were more accurate, we'd all be good. This is my turning through gap. That. But again, just to ease that through. There we go. Ha-ha! These are so easy, you can get them, honestly. Just remember to leave that zip open. If you want to snip in, then do. There we go. Now, if I had the time, I would hand stitch that turning through gap shut, but I don't. So what I will just do is just stitch that. just got to share this with you. Perfect. Perfect. Oh, lovely. It's amazing what pleases you, isn't it? Yeah, and especially because it's the lining that has the interfacing on, I would probably hand stitch that shut. But we don't always have the privilege of time. So in the interest of done is better than perfect, otherwise we know me, it will just sit around in my box of things I really should get around to finishing. UFO pile. Oh, how gorgeous. And because again I went in with that 1/2 inch seam allowance on the base, it is, you could always taper it off, but it's more roomy than some of the others. I am loving this for sure. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? Now, what we need is, of course, to do the top. Now, Gemma very kindly brought in, I don't know where she put them, somewhere. I don't know where she put them. Gem, where did you put the tab ends? I saw you come in with them, but where they went, I don't know. I wasn't looking. Oh, what? Oh, on top of the Styleville fix. Oh, lovely. Thanks. Ah, social distancing. Yes. Still a thing. Righty-ho. So, I've used up all my Posh Sally tomato ones. This needs to be, let's go with this one. I think that was the one where you've still got that. This needs to be, where are my nice scissors? Here we go. Oh, look at that, decisions. No, let's use this one. It's already cut. 12 inches is that. And then, have you got your scissor kits yet? I absolutely love these scissors. Absolutely love them. What a find they were. If you don't know which ones I'm talking about, we've got a mega bundle with like pounds and pounds and pounds off, like £12 or something off, because they're changing the packaging. So they were just selling off the old stock because they were changing the packaging. Honestly, what goes in it is not going to change. Just phenomenal. Now, if you've got the strength to shut this part way, then do. If you don't worry about it. You have various ways. Let me show you the ways in which I have previously closed these snaps. It might all look a little bit overkill. We might have one pair of these, which are the actual fob closers. But even so, you know, if you've got like this is a bit of old pleather left, I would shut them part way. If you don't have a set of these, again, you might want to just protect it with a little bit of fabric or something, but just shut them part of the way. And the reason, you see, look, it's slipped. This is the reason why I say do it part way, because then the little hooks in there can hook. Now, if you don't have a pair of these pliers, I'll sort of demo like every which way up to do it. Rubber mallet or hammer, all do the same thing. Watch your fingers. And again, just as you get to that end, like the rubber mallet means that you don't really have to put that on. If you're going in with a normal hammer, for goodness sakes, put some fabric on it to protect it. But the rubber mallet, you know, you are fine with. Okay, so then we need to, oh, I need a tassel as well. Forgot my tassel. Where is my brain at today? Just bear with me while I go into the tassel department. I'd like to think that's an actual department that I have here at Natasha Makes. It's just so beautiful. Beautiful. Ugh, I can't do these. One of my dogs has just pulled off her tag as well, her name tag. And they play, honestly, all the time, those two. And the puppies, I say the puppies, they're 2 now, the girls. And they play quite rough, it would be fair to say. Loving this. Look at it. It just looks so gorgeous. And then just thread that through your zip end. Yeah. How cool is that? There we go. So that is beautiful. All done there. Exciting times. It can join the Malay up there. So yeah, that's 4 of your options. Then it's just the blue one to choose from. Enjoy them. Oh my goodness. Right. So what are you going to do then with all of the pleather or the cork, depending on what you've got left over? What, I ask you, what are you going to do? Now, here are my ideas. So I started gathering. We have a quick tidy. I started gathering various bags to show you. All right, and here is the reason. Oh, look at me, tidy, tidy, tidy. Here's the reason why. I want to talk interfacings with you and why we use what we use. And it's all very well me saying this, that, and the other, but I wanted you to see. So this is the cork-based bag. All right, and this is with the handles made out of cork. All right. And this is with Styleville Fix in it, to there. Okay, this cork, now I've got a creased bit. I always use if there's any imperfection or anything, I always will use that in my demo, just so that stuff doesn't get thrown away. This is already quilted and already has an interfacing if you want in there, because it's quilted. So I didn't feel the need necessarily you don't have to firm that up. That is going to be absolutely fine as it is. That's how sturdy it is, and actually that would really cope with leather handles. So like this one's got quite meaty leather handles. This one would cope with like these style. Now these style leather handles, this one I did with H640 all the way round. Okay, and I just want to show you the difference because I've written 2 patterns for you, and here's why. This has got, let me just take that out. This is Styleville Fix to the top. I wasn't thinking when I made this. I was just blindly doing the cork pattern and blah, 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 blah. And then afterwards I was like, I'm so silly, so silly. This leather cloth is finer than the quilted cork. So look what happens. So same top, but look what happens when I put it down. It sort of sinks. So I was like, right, okay, I need to write a separate pattern for those of you that are working with either the either leather or the bases, like the prim bases. This is how we'll do it. So I mean, as Inga quite rightly said, she's like, by the time, Tash, that you've put all your stuff in there, it's going to pad out that base anyway. So I didn't throw it away, and I sewed on the handles and everything else. But it just just a bit bouncy. Now, here's the thing. So then the technique that is in the contrast base bag pattern means that you will use the same interfacing all the way around. So we don't have that sinking, we don't have that contrast, as you can see between here. There's sort of, I don't know if you can see, it sort of sinks and goes flat. This one doesn't do it. You see that there? It doesn't do it because it's got that interfacing all the way around. Now, here's the thing. If I were to make this again, and I possibly will adjust this now anyway, now that the new handles are in. Oh, we've got, by the way, this is H640. So this is a softer interfacing. So there it is. You can see it's a softer interfacing, which is why it's absolutely perfect for the smaller projects. And actually, that's fine. But these handles that I've sewn on, they're going to be fine once it's full, but we do two types. And at the time when I did this, I didn't have the other type. Actually, what I will probably do is swap these handles around. These are really rigid. These have got more give. These are actually lighter ones. They are real leather. So if you're a vegetarian or whatever, don't get these ones. And you know, if that's something that's going to upset you. But they are lighter. So because that is a lighter interfacing, the H640, I would probably go with the lighter leather handles on that bag and switch them around. Now, here's the other thing that I discovered this morning, which is the other reason that I will probably take these handles off and restitch them at some point, just because I am a perfectionist and it has upset me. So I don't know, I'm pointing out all my little errors, which otherwise you probably wouldn't see at all. But can you just see that this is slightly more at an angle than that one? They're really hard to baste in place. Really hard to baste in place. And then this morning I was like, hang on a minute. And I had an absolute genius moment, if I can find it anywhere. What have I done with it? That would be more genius if I could actually find it. Here we go. So, yes, my microstitch tool. I've used that to baste the leather sew-on straps in place. I would like to take a bow. I was so impressed myself. Now this is H640 and I've done on this one, I have done this so that this goes all the way round, just to show you that way as well. I love these. These are in Lisa fabrics. But look, now I can check properly that my handles, before I stitch them on, are exactly where I want them. They're going to stay in place. If you don't know what the microstitch tool is, let me show you. It's this. It's genius. It is made for basting your quilts. Okay, looks a bit, but all I did, it's the smallest microstitch tool on the market so that it holds your quilt layers together. I use these when there used to be things like pre-loved sales and stuff in the village hall. I used to use these to price up all of the clothes. But look, here are the holes in the bag handle. It's got a super sharp needle. I've got some replacement needles as well. You stick it through all the layers. Can you see? Squeeze and it comes out there. So can you see like all the little, all the little snippety bits? There, look, you've got all your little snippety bits there, which holds that in place. I can now get busy stitching that and it's held in place rather than moving. Bag handles, I've not used bag handles for so long. I really like the look of them, but it's the stitching on that has always put me off. And then I started using them because we had them on a show, and I really like the finish of them. I think it elevates your make completely, and I really think it lifts it. And I'm just really chuffed with myself. So that is my top tip for you, for sure. These, I've got a few of the tan ones left. I love these with the cork base and the Lisa Chandler. I just think they're beautiful. In the instructions for the cork base bag, it does tell you how to make your own cork handles, and it's basically how we made that, the wristlet strap. Okay, so that's really super, super simple, easy. Now this has got your Styleville from there upwards. This has got your H640. So this is a slightly softer bag. This one's more rigid, and that's the difference between the two. Okay, just so that you can get a good old idea about it. But yeah, a moment of genius, I feel, for myself this morning. Yeah. Okay, so if you are going ahead and making either of the bags, there are a few things that are going to be the same effectively, and that is the base size. So these both the patterns, the contrast base pattern and the cork base quilted base bag, they're going to make exactly the same size bag. They're going to make that one, which is the same size as that one there. Okay, it's just the technique with the base that is slightly different. Okay, so, no, wrong camera. There we go. In the instructions, you will cut out your cork or your pleather, all right? We've got the quilted pleather as well on the website. Again, that would look gorgeous with so many of these. And then you've got measurements, all right? You've got some measuring to do. If you've got your Creative Grids ruler, they are fantastic for this. And in the pattern, it gives you all of the measurements to mark it out with. I'm going in with a Sharpie so that you can see it, all right? Now, here's the thing. What I would do, double check yourself all the time. I would mark off one side. It will then go across and down, as you can see. But I would then come in and go at it from the other side. Okay. And then what I want to check is that how accurate actually is that? It's out slightly just because of the thickness of the marker. So what I know for me now is that when I get in with my snippy scissors to cut to that outside line or the inside line, just double check yourself. And we're just going to take that bit out. So now it's like we're working with one of the Prim bag bases. By the way, don't throw these away, because if you ever want to put in magnetic clasps and you want to reinforce anything, that's great. So we've got our bag base. It is up to you. Like on the Prim bag base, this isn't going to fray. So if you just want to stitch your top on, you know, then that's fine. If you're going to follow this and do the Prim bags where you hand stitch along, then you want to make your outer fabric like we do the lining in one continuous piece. We're not going to do that. We are going to do our two tops in two separate pieces, okay? And we will interface those two separate pieces because this already has body to it. So I will match, at least match that, okay? So you can either go in with your Styleville or your H640. In this instance, let's work with the Styleville today, shall we? So I had some cut somewhere, but who knows where? I don't know where. What have I done with it? Could have put it anywhere. Tell you what, some days I cut a whole piece of it. Bear with me, caller. I'll be with you in a minute. What have I done with it? What have I done? Oh, we might be going with H640 after all. I put it safely to one side. I'm going mad, aren't I? I am actually going mad. Hey ho. Hey ho, hey ho. Seriously, madness. I cut a whole piece of the Styleville. I just didn't want to have to cut another piece. Yeah, that's the one. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Madness is going on today.
Sometimes you just need a second pair of eyes. Thanks, Jem.
Madness is contagious.
Madness is contagious. Amazing. So, thank goodness. Thank goodness. If you're using the Styleville Fix, and just bear in mind, I didn't use it for ages because I thought it was a sew-in, and then I actually bothered to look on the top of the roll, and it's got the iron mark. I'm like, why have I not? But with these, especially with the leather or pleather, if you want to use a sew-in interfacing, go for it. Do it. We're going to do like a 50-50. Now, the other thing is, if you are working with such a beautiful piece of fabric as a piece of kaffe, then feel free to have a little think about which bits you want to see. So the top is going to be 9 inches. So actually, yeah, I'm quite happy because then I'll have this in its entirety. Now, as I said to you earlier, if you are really careful about how you cut, then you will get the tops for 2 of these bags and the top for a wristlet. Okay. So let's just, this is where the Creative Grids rulers just come into their own, because you can really see where you're going with it. The only thing with it is that sometimes it can just be, sometimes this is a little bit too thick to cut into, so to use your, because you have to fold it under for the size that we need. Oh, but actually what I am absolutely loving with these new Creative Grid whatevers, what are they called, mats, is that my Creative Grid markers line up exactly. We normally say choose which one you want, and either use the measurements from your mat or from your ruler, but just not both. But actually with this, you can use both, which is fabulous. Really good, because they all line up, which doesn't always happen if you use different brands of stuff. So I'm just trimming this down to the same size. So you can see that the Styleville really does have, it has more body. Look, this is not, it's like air. It's like it's cushioned with air. So I don't want you worrying and thinking, oh my goodness. I just use a normal size needle. All of my bags up until the last couple were made on my normal machine. I know that I'm working with my new fancy schmancy one, which is a semi-industrial, but you don't, like, I've just always used my other one. Now, when you feel it, you will feel that one side is nice and smooth and the other side a little bit more scratchy. That's the side with the adhesive on. If you sort of wangle it around in the light, the light might just catch on it and you'll see. But with the other with the H640, you'll see little dots, little glue dots. So that's how you will know on that one. Let's try not to. If you want to use, all I'm doing there, you're meant to press with a damp cloth. I haven't got a damp cloth. By the time I got around to actually demoing, it wouldn't still be damp. So I simply spray a little bit of, you know, whatever I've got in my bottle, which is not, happily today, not the dog's grooming stuff. It's not. A phone call, I will ring them back later. We are busy. Do they not know? What are they doing ringing in the middle of a show? Do they not know? Okay, so just fix those on. And then I need to get an iron without all the leads and everything, I think. This is really nice, actually. I've been really struggling to get hold of all the different sprays, and then I bumped into someone who's like, oh, have you tried that flatter stuff that comes in from America? And I'm just like, don't get me started on trying to get stuff in from America. It's a nightmare, blah, blah, blah. They're like, no, 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 no. I've got some in the country. So, oh, have you now? So flatter is an all-natural, basically alternative to a starch spray, and I will get you some in. And the reason for why, firstly because it's actually in the country and not a struggle to get it, but secondly because it's all natural. I don't know if some of you, I've heard a few of you have given me feedback that the best press, and don't get me wrong, I love best press, and I've never had a problem, but some people that suffer with asthma have found that they just can't use it. And that's, you know, it's a personal thing, and obviously if you spray something and you struggle to breathe, please don't use it again. So these people that then struggle on, it's like, no, breathing is quite important, please don't struggle on. But I got to the bottom of it, and it's some people with asthma can react. But the lady that told me about this said, well, I have asthma and that's why I went to flatter. Now, I'm not making any medical claims, let's be really clear on this, but anecdotally, she said that she can have the flatter, whereas she can't use best press. That was really interesting to me because I've had probably 2 emails from people, which, you know, with the amount that we sell isn't a lot, but the fact there's any kind of makes me think I need to find an alternative for you. So I will be getting hopefully a lot of flatter in for you later on this week. So, and it smells divine, by the way, as well. Decide which way up your fabrics are going to go, if it's directional. This is my bag base here. You can see why this went into the seconds, can't you? It's just got a little crease in it. I've cut this completely wrong. I haven't cut this wide enough. But so anyway, that would go onto there. You would sew that, and then, do you know what? I will probably just trim it back and make a smaller bag. But sew that onto there like that. Press it up and then stitch if you can along there just to hold it in, and then you will go on and make the rest of the bag like we will with the leather. I'm such a klutz, honestly. Cutting it to the wrong size, go me. Right, so with that in mind, let's look at this one, which has been cut to the correct size, go me. Well, now I need to check whether or not I can still fit my, oh, I know why. Right. Okay, so Here is the thing. Get your lining, the leather cloth. So this would be how that cork would have looked if I had actually cut it to the correct size. But we've all just watched me cut it to completely the wrong size. Well done me. And yeah, this is the right size of the Styleville fix. So what you'll notice this time, because this is a leather cloth, this is a PU cloth, it's really fine. And that's why we ended up with the bouncy bottom if we just use Styleville fix on the top. So I'm going to do this to show you. I'd like to pretend that I've done this just to demonstrate this purpose. Let's go with that, shall we? Let's go with that. So what I would do, smooth it all out. If you've got a little bit of leeway, bit of edge, bit of gap, then great. Actually, when you tend to put these, when you starch them and spray this stuff, there tends to be a little bit of movement in there. I'm just going to do one side for now and move this across to my pressing mat. Please be really careful if you are pressing near PU. All right, don't go on it because you will damage it. Right, now, if you've got different ways to baste this, you cannot do anything, and that's absolutely fine because you'll baste either end. You can use a sew-in one, that's absolutely fine. Or you can just baste this bit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull that back. I'm going to get my spray baste. Just for goodness sakes, put something under there. This is just H640. Not H640, it's 505. Why does everything have to have a number? It's so confusing. It's a repositionable spray. All right, so don't worry. Obviously use it in a well ventilated area. Blah, blah. Then we're going to pull this back across to here. If you want to baste this in place with a stitch, then do. All I'm trying to do here, guys, is give you options. Okay, that's what we're about, giving you options. Nothing, there isn't a right or wrong, apart from when you cut the wrong size. That's quite wrong. We'll gloss over that, right? We'll gloss over that. And actually, what I'll do now is just start to press the other side in place. I'm not going to go in too heavy with that right now because actually it's all a little ungainly. So the other thing that I will then do is just trim everything back. Now in the sewing of things might have got a little bit wobbly, a little bit pulled, a little bit, you know, there is a little bit of give in this leather cloth. I'm just going to cut these lines straight, okay? Then any extra stuff might get lost in the seam allowance or whatever, but I'm basically basted on there. So I'll line up along the seam and then use that for something else. And then again, you know, making sure stuff is all sort of lined up. Because your fabric does distort a little bit. There's lots of different ways that it could have just distorted a little bit here and there. So just evening up And again, you know, if you think that maybe you've just pressed that, just go in and have another little press if you want. And then you are good to go. I'm just going to make sure that is all beautifully attached there. If you're worried about going close to your pleather, use a pressing cloth. Just make sure that you've got a pressing cloth there. If you need to realign or anything like that, then just warm it again. And just go through. I'll tell you what's happened. I've caught something and just nicked the fabric. Silly, silly, silly. Right. Now just take a look, and this is just about realigning your fabric. So if you've got a little bit that's gone a bit wobbly, don't panic about it. Just trim it back, but just make sure that everything is straight. So lining up, and what you take off one side, so what am I taking off there? 1/4 of an inch. I'll just take off from the other. And I'm going to use this just as a guide. It's no biggie. Sometimes it happens. But just get everything nicely square, because otherwise I'm going to go in with that seam allowance and it's not going to sit. Here we are. But I would rather that you just remember what you do to one side. It's like your kids. What you do with one, you do with the other. This is quite a fixed point here, so I would use that as your sort of straightening off guide if you want, so that it's the same both sides. So trim it back. This isn't in the instructions. When I made the last bag, it all went swimmingly. Everything went exactly where it needed to be, but there have been other bags where things have gone a little bit wobbly, and it just, you can just shimmy everything up. Now I know that everything is nice and equal and I am all good. So the next thing that I would do, and we're not going to do the whole thing today because we are fast running out of time, is this will be my lining fabric. So I will, as I use my top as a template for my Styleville fix, or whatever interfacing you decide, then use your lining fabric, use this top piece as the template for your lining fabric, so that if you've had to trim off a little bit at the top or whatever, whatever you've had to do just to get everything nice and square, it just means then that your lining fabric is the exact same size. Okay, that is my top tip for you. And then we'll cut out this and I'll show you how this then stitches together. Okay, but that will then be it. Because I hear there's somebody at the door, and I have a feeling that will be one of our big old deliveries today. Yep. If you want to use your walking foot, then do. The lining will go together in the exact same way, but just leave a turning through gap down the side. Okay? So fold it in half, and again get your clips. And this is where it's nice and even, because we just trimmed and neatened. And then here, all I'm doing is just making sure that those seam marks are pretty much in the same place. And there we go. And then you're just going to stitch down both sides, so let's do that. Now again, you might want your walking foot on. Because you're going through quite a few layers now. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to do it the same way, just because there's less distance from here to the pleather seam than there is from the other, so there's less room for potential movement. If you're worried, go with a wider seam allowance. Okay, now to box the base, we go from there to as flat as you can do. Now, it might be that from where you've trimmed stuff up, it might look like that, and that's okay. Just sew 1/4 of an inch in along there, okay? Oh, helps if you put foot down. Do, 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 do. Not sure how much you can see. There's quite a lot of white coming your way, isn't there? So, oh no, wrong screen. So then all you're going to do, this is how that, all that does is box the base, and then you'd put your lining in so it was right sides together and stitch around the top, or make your handles. This is all in your pattern, but I did just want to show you how sturdy that now is. So that is with your Styleville fix, okay? That is with H640. So you can see that is a softer make, that is really rigid, okay? That has got the H640 all the way around. And again, so this is going to come down just to personal preference as to how you want your bag to be. This one will sit very happy with the heavier handles. I'll probably swap out the lighter handles for this with my new micro stitch thing. I'm so chuffed with myself for thinking of that. But yeah, so you can just see the difference in how sturdy those bags are. So that's, I guess, what I really wanted to prove to you is the difference between the two interfacings, just so that you have a better guess, because otherwise you invest your money in it and then it's like, oh, did I get the right one or the wrong one? So yeah, there we go. That's that. I will see you tomorrow. By the looks of what's just arrived, I'm not sure if there might be a slight change of schedule.
It's an enormous number of boxes.
And 16 boxes. Did you count them in?
Yeah, well, they're counting them in now.
Yeah, 16. Yeah. 16 boxes of, you know, Lisa Chandler goodness. So
Something for me.
clarify something for you. Yeah.
But the madness is catching today.
Madness is catching,
So
right? What have I done?
No, this was me.
This is Gemma. Come on.
Took a turn.
You've.
So the very,
What have you done?
very beginning of the show.
The very beginning of the show.
Amy
Yes.
bought the kits very early on. All the description was correct, the contents is all still the same, but the title on a few of the colourways said cork-based kit rather than Sally Tomato wristlet kit. They are
Okay.
both the same, the contents is the same. The
I don't know if you're
description was
hearing
right,
this. So
the picture was right.
Gemma's had a mad moment when she loaded stuff, plus we had a big weekend. We did have a big weekend, so we'll let you off that one. Oh, half pints in. And just to dilute the message. For those of you that bought, what it said, the cork-based kit, that's for the wristlet, but I know why Gemma's got confused. It's because there I was telling everyone that you had enough cork to make one of these cork-based bags, which you do. So it's exactly the same as the Sally Tomato wristlet kits and the same amounts as everything, if that makes sense.
Photo was right.
Photos right, description's right,
Just the
fabric
title
quantities.
was wrong for a
I've got deja vu going on. Isn't that weird? How does deja vu happen? It's so strange, but complete deja vu. Anyway, peeps, that is all good, and you'll get everything that it said was in there, basically. I'm very excited by the boxes that have just arrived and slightly distracted, and I'm going to go and have a look at those. So, who knows what we're going to end up with tomorrow, because that looks suspiciously delicious. Magical mystery. And we'll try and get it sorted in time for the newsletter so that SJ can tell you in advance what's going to be on the show tomorrow. Have a lovely rest of the day. Take care. Stay safe, whether you're out shopping or whatever it is that you're doing. And thank you for your company. Half pint, that's not your bag. Bye.